guys to Gustavo. Gustavo is our next speaker for tonight. He is a staff front-end engineer at Thinkific, and he's passionate about design systems, user experience, and web accessibility. Please give it up for Gustavo.
Yeah. Hey folks, please imagine that I'm BoJack Horseman. I can't do it. I tried it. It's really hard. I can't breathe. Yeah, it's working. Hello folks. Thank you so much for showing up. Yeah, English is not my first language, so if you don't understand, like just raise your hand and I can repeat. I can try to find a different word. But yeah, thanks again. I'm Gustavo. I'm a front-end engineer at Thinkific, and I'm going to talk about information versus experience, or how to build mature design systems. Yeah. So, briefly talking about Thinkific. If you haven't heard about it, it's a Vancouver-based company, and it's a online education platform. So basically, educators uses Thinkific to sell their courses online. So it's a platform to sell courses online. It is as it is. Sorry, Thinkific, but I need to be quick here. Running one more time. Okay. Everyone knows what is design system here? No? Cool. I don't need to explain that much. But yeah, why design systems? Yeah, this is just like a few buttons that I was like doing an exercise of collecting some screenshots from pages across Thinkific. So some of our pages using different buttons. So buttons, as you know, all know in web is used like we call it like call to action. So you are calling the user to take an action, and this is basically like a few of buttons that we use, but we have way more. And when you look at closer to one of these buttons, what in fact is happening here is that we are connecting to like different group of people, sometimes way more than that. And in this case, it's Thinkific calling creator educator to take an action. So it's Thinkific communicating to a possible user, like a potential user, to sign up for the platform for free. So basically, this button is using for that. But we have other different kinds of buttons as well across the platform, and we have like there are different kinds of connections. You can have a button for creator educator calling students to take an action, and in this case, it's to like start learning. But when like it's way more complex than that, and when you think about those groups, it's actually like in a company you have like different people with different views, and every single people will have a different opinion about how a button should look like. And it can become like way more complex. I worked for this company in the past, and this company is called Beacon, and I wanted to explain quickly how it works. So basically it's an application, and we have like different kinds of group of users, and one group was like their airplane crew. So basically the pilot, let's say that the pilot detects some problem with the airplane. Let's say they're flying from Toronto to Vancouver, and let's pick a non-scary problem, like AC. The AC is not working very well, it's feeling warmer there, and they communicate to the flight controller, and the flight controller is going to use the app to try to find like a maintenance crew that is specialized in that type of AC, in that type of aircraft. So that's basically how the app works. Can you see like how many different users and people are in between those relations? Like they have different environments. So the flight controller is probably using a computer, although like the maintenance staff is probably using a cell phone because they are like in the airport, you know, like fixing planes. So again, like way more complex than that. When you think of like maintenance staff, like you have engineer, manager. When you're talking about like airplane crew, it's not only pilots, we have flight attendants, we have co-pilots, a co-pilot that actually works. Yeah, but why design systems, right? So basically, we try to map all those connections, all those people, and try to understand their expectations, their needs, and we try to find the best button or the best elements, the best components for them. The component that is going to resolve their problems, actually. Sometimes like one button is not enough. You may need like variations of components, and it's different from product to product, from context to context. Even in a product like that I showed before, you can have like different group of users demanding different types of buttons now. And it's not only Thinkific that does that. Apple as well. British Columbia, I don't know if you knew, like we have like a design system for British Columbia. GitHub does that. And even the king has a design system. And I have to admit, like it's a really good one in terms of accessibility. Like they take it serious to be compliant in terms of WCAG criteria. So if you're looking for a reference in design systems, it's a really, really good one. So yeah, congratulations, King. I hope they can like I hope they can do like more design systems and less colonization in the future. Well, so a mature design system, what that means. So again, thinking about this group of people, a mature button, let's think about a button, is a button that you actually expose to this different group of users and you collect feedback on them. So I went to the airport with my team and I saw the maintenance crew, for example, using my app and working with my button. And like, I was checking with them, like, how is it working? Like, what is the problem? Maybe they are working in a very dark environment and they need like more brightness. Or maybe it's the opposite. They are working in a very bright environment and they need the button to be different. So a mature component, a mature pattern is a pattern that was exposed many, many times to different people, and you actually paid attention to those feedbacks and how they were using it, and you modified it. You try to make it better. And yeah, when I was creating this design system at Thinkific, I read this amazing article from this professor from the University of Barcelona. I don't speak Spanish, so I think it's Jorge La Rosa Bondia. And this paper called Notes on Experience and the Knowledge of Experience. It's a really good one. Unfortunately, it's only available in Spanish and Portuguese, I think. But what I'm like, I'll try to summarize really quickly here. And I'm so sorry, Mr. La Rosa, but I probably messed it up. But the idea that I got from here and what's important for us here is that he's talking about like why we are like in this generation that we have. If you think about like 2 minutes or 3 minutes of someone scrolling on TikTok, this person is probably going to be exposed to a doctor doing a surgery, a person making a carbonara, and a person like painting their apartment. And you may think like, well, like I'm talking about 2 minutes, but actually if you see the data, usually people take like 2-3 hours a day in TikTok and Instagram. So maybe they are like, we are a generation of chefs that can make awesome carbonaras, and where like a lot of people doing are able to do surgeries. And that's not actually true. You cannot be a doctor because you watch 20 seasons of Grey's Anatomy. You actually needs to be exposed to that experience, right? The doctor actually reads a lot of books, and that's important. As Grey's Anatomy, books are information. Oh God. Yeah, and they are exposed to those information, and that's important, but they also need to go to a surgery room. They need to see another doctor doing the surgery, and that's how they're like gaining more confidence in how they're gaining experience, you know? And after a few times being there, they maybe start like being as an assistant, and then at some point they start actually doing the surgery by themselves. So La Rosa affirms that the knowledge of experience is acquired in the relationship between knowledge and human, singular concrete life. So let's bring that to the design system word again. Think about that you're trying to create a new design system for your company, and let's try to think about some tasks that we can do, and try to separate those tasks in information and tools and experience. Let's start with information and tools first. So as a as possible tasks for do in terms of information, you can read books, you can attend courses online or in person, you can do research, you can go and check the King's design system to see how they're doing their components. You can analyze data of your own product. You can create an interface inventory, very similar to what I did with the buttons before. Like you go and take a screenshot to see how that pattern or that component is being used across your application. And we can also use tools. That's very helpful as well. You can have like a Figma plugin that will concentrate your design tokens and share that with your code. You can use a headless component library so you don't need to write down the code for every single functionality of your components. You can use an automated test. And you can also use like LLM outputs to spit out some random and then create information about your components and maybe ask them to generate some components for you. That everything could be really helpful. So as I say, like the interface inventory, or go in there and check for information like W3C and see like what's important in terms of accessibility for headings. This course is really, really good. It's called Practical Accessibility by Sarah Solvay. Sarah is like basically she's amazing, like the most experienced person in terms of accessibility. She's really, really good, and I do recommend if you want to create more accessible and you want to learn more about how to make accessible experience for web apps, please check out this course. It's really, really good. I do recommend it. And let's jump to experience. So let's think about tasks again. You can interview users. You can talk to them. You can include all the diverse group of people that are actually using your product, and including people with disabilities as well. You can test with them. As I said in that example before, you can like have your app and go to the airport and see them playing with that, like see them working with it, and see how that goes. You can talk to your team and the team that is going to use your components to use their page and their products. You can run like experimentations and all of that. This is an example of me working with Douglas from Fable. Fable is a Canadian company. It's amazing as well. Their website is called makeitfable.com, and it's a company that have like a lot of users, like testers actually, and those like the testers, they are people that use assistive technologies. So they use screen readers, they use alternative navigation, like navigation by voice, there's technologies for navigation by eyes. It's really, really cool. And what this company does is that they connect you to those testers, and you can ask them to test your components, your application, and they will provide feedback for you. So in this case, I'm testing a select component that my team was working on, and it's me and Douglas. Douglas is a screen reader user and also an expert in accessibility, and he was testing my component and telling me what was working well and what wasn't. There are like many tools out there as well, like user testing that you can expose to a more similar demographic to your aspect as your audience as well. And you can bring all of that to Jira tickets, like create the tickets based on what they said, and at some point your team is you need to make sure that they're going to address that. Well, so La Rosa continues saying that the subject of experience is an exposed subject. From the perspective of experience, what is important is neither the position or the opposition or the imposition, not even the proposition, but the exposure, our way of exposing in all its vulnerability and risks. So the difference between information and experience is basically exposure. And La Rosa continues saying that information is not experience, and moreover, information leaves no room for experience. It is almost the opposite of experience, almost an anti-experience. Well, and that's really true. Like, if you just read books and you don't go to a surgery room you don't leave space for something else that it's really important as well. So if you just think about, let's just think about books and just about courses and just about ChatGPT, you'll never be out there doing the thing actually and learning by the experience itself. Yeah, so the maturation process, how it works. Like first you propose a pattern. So you want to propose a button, a select component, whatever. And the problem is that people usually stop you. They go to like a LLM technology and ask them to create a design system, and generates like a bunch of buttons and say, yeah, it's ready. Or I read a lot of books and I learn how to make the best accessible and more beautiful company in the world, or the components in the world, sorry. And then they deliver it, and that's it. But please don't do that. Continue to follow this process. The next step is really important. It's where you expose the patterns to a group of different people. And here, diversity is really important because you cannot only test your components with the pilots. You need the maintenance crew. You need the flight controller as well. You need everyone, every single possible person, like possible group of people, including people with disabilities, that are going to use your product. You need to include them in the process as well. And by doing that, it's painful, it's stressful, but in the end, you have like a major pattern. And I really like music, and this Portuguese artist released this album called Mother Petal in 2020, and she starts the album, her name is Capicua, and she starts the album with a phrase, like a sentence from a Brazilian author, and she says, "Happy oysters don't make pearls." And that makes a lot of sense for our what I'm talking about here. When you propose a button or a component, and you expose this to a group of people, like the maintenance group, for example, and they say, "Oh, this is bad. This is actually not working for me. I couldn't complete my task, or at least not the way that I was expecting. It took me way more time to complete that." It's really painful because you do believe in what you deliver, and someone is saying to you that, "Oh, this is not working." That's very stressful. But trust me, it's stressful, but it works. Like in the end, you'll have like better patterns, better components. So that's the process. Like you propose, you expose, you analyze, and then you propose again, and expose again, and analyze again. I don't want to be repetitive here. I can do that. Okay. So yeah. So let's think about like a sand grain. Okay, we need to accelerate that. So from a sand grain to a major chord. I think maybe you already got it, but let's go. So we have like a bunch of propositions, and people start debating about it. So how the design is going to look like, and then we have an agreement on that, and then we start doing the research to see how a select component is going to look like. And I say, yeah, let's discuss with the team how it should be, you know. And then 21 replies, and people saying, "No, you're wrong, Gustavo. That's not going to work." And I'm, okay, that's very stressful. Let's go. Let's keep talking. Let's keep dialoguing. Yeah. So a bunch of conversation. And I say, yeah, okay, we have an agreement now. I would just create a pull request with everything that we agreed here, and that's it. 70 comments. Yeah. Again, it's stressful, but in the end, I'm pretty sure that after the 7th comment, the component is way better. And then we bring it to the real world. So this is a page that is using the component, so it's exposed to more people, but notice that we are way closer to the sand grain than the major curve here. So you expose more, you implement in different pages, and then like we do more accessibility tests on top of it, like this is Douglas again in another session. Until you have like the results, like this is a session that the user was saying that they never saw like a form like this before, that was really helpful for them to interact, really easy for them to use it. So after all of that, we are really closer to become like to have a major component or patterns here. So conclusion. Yeah, that's why those who position, oppose, impose, and propose themselves without exposing themselves are incapable of gaining experience. There are successful digital products out there, like without ChatGPT, without the best Figma plugin ever, without React, but there are not successful products out there without people, without users, you know? Uber only exists because in one side of this is like drivers that wants to make some money, and in the other side is like passengers, people that want to take a ride, right? You can't just replace them with a chatbot to take a ride around the city. It's ridiculous. Like, the digital products only exist to connect people, and it's all about people, and it's going to be forever, trust me. The most valuable answer will not come from something, but from someone. And yeah, that's it. I would like to thank this group of people that helped me to write down this article that I'm now transforming into this talk, and this is my first English, like talk in English, so thank you so much. This is a QR code to the article, so if you like the talk, please do consider giving me some claps. That's ridiculous, but that helps to make sure that the article is going to reach more people. So thank you so much.
But,
That was awesome.
yeah, it's error.
There is an arrow on the QR code?
Yeah, it's an error.
We can email it later tonight. Send me the QR code later tonight, and I'll make sure that it gets to you guys through like Luma. Cool, awesome. That was really great for your first talk. I was very impressed. Also, I'll open up for questions in 1 minute. I just wanted to say thank you to Gustavo and Thinkific as well. So next month, VenJS November will be hosted at Thinkific. So you guys will get to see Thinkific HQ. So thanks Gustavo for arranging that. And now to questions. No question?
I can speak from here. I noticed that you test live with people. You have like 70 comments there. Everybody was just talking about the components. But did you deploy that on a storybook first and then test, or you just put it this live and test live to see the feedback?
Yeah, the initial set of tests was on Storybook. So the majority of the initial tests, like even with Fable and user testing, we use Storybook first. But some of the tests are already in production. But even when, like, only after we consider that that component is mature enough to go to production. But yeah, it's like this is a live process, and it will take forever.
Yeah.
While the application is there, while people are just using it, you still need like to test it more and more, and you always need to check if it's still working for that group of people.
So you talked about accessibility, right? So these days, how would you say like the tools for accessibility are they mature? And if let's say I want to build something tomorrow, like what kind of tools can I pursue to use?
Tools for accessibility?
Accessibility.
Yeah, we have a few. I can't say all of that for now, but like there's a company called Decky, and they have a tool called Axie, A-X. That's how it's spelled. And they're really good. Like you can see like a lot of even like solutions with AI using Axie to test page and stuff like that. You can have like that implemented with your CI pipeline as well too. But I need to mention this. Like currently, like those automated solutions, it doesn't cover. Like, you can get like maximum like 30% of the accessibility issues. To get actually like the 100%, like to see what's going on, really you need to reach out to people who still like solutions like Fable, or even exposing like to other like people with disabilities in some way and ask their opinion. But yeah, using automated solutions, you can maybe like get like 30% of this identified as fix. Sorry? A-X-E. Okay. Thanks, folks. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Gustavo.